There is a bowl of tomatoes on your counter right now, going soft. Maybe 3 cucumbers behind them that nobody touched since Sunday. You tell yourself tonight is the night you finally do something with them. You do not. By Friday, they are in the trash, and you stand there for a second feeling genuinely bad about it. That guilt is real, but here is what nobody tells you. You are not failing at gardening. Your garden succeeded so well it outran your kitchen, and that is a completely different problem with a completely different solution. For most of human history, that problem was solved without a single can or a single pressure cooker. Root cellars, salt crocks, and drying racks fed entire families through winter centuries before canning existed at all. Today I am showing you 5 of those old-fashioned methods, what they actually cost, and exactly how long each one keeps your harvest edible. Method number 2 is the one almost nobody under 50 has ever tried, and it requires nothing you do not already own. Drop your country, state, or zone in the comments. Tell me what is piling up on your counter right now. Method 1. The brine jar. Cucumbers, beans, carrots, peppers, sitting in a pile with no plan? 10 minutes from now, they have a plan. Let me explain why this works. Vinegar is acidic. When you pour hot vinegar brine over vegetables, it drops the pH inside that jar so low that harmful bacteria simply cannot survive. That is the entire secret. No canning equipment, no boiling water baths, 0 experience required. Here is exactly what to do. First, make the brine. In a small pot, combine 1 cup of white vinegar, 1 cup of water, 1 tablespoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. Bring it to a boil, then turn off the heat. Second, prep the jar. While that heats up, grab any clean glass jar. An old pickle or pasta sauce jar works perfectly. Pack it tight with sliced cucumbers, trimmed green beans, or carrot sticks. Finally, pour and store. Pour the hot brine slowly over the vegetables until every piece is completely submerged. Put the lid on and place the jar in your refrigerator. You are finished. You can eat them after 24 hours, but they taste best if you have the patience to wait 3 to 5 days. What you just made costs pennies compared to a $5 jar of store-bought pickles. One honest rule before you start: these live in your refrigerator, not on a pantry shelf. They are not shelf-stable, but 1 shelf in your fridge door is usually all the space you will need. Pro tip: for the best crunch, look for cucumber varieties called Kirby or National Pickling next spring. Both grow reliably across zones 4 through 9. Method 2. The sand-packed root cellar. Before refrigeration existed at all, root vegetables fed families through entire winters, using nothing but cool, dark storage and dry sand. Almost nobody under 50 has tried this themselves, but it requires nothing beyond a container and a bag of sand. American colonial households dug root cellars into hillsides, specifically to exploit the constant 50-degree temperature found a few feet underground, a method borrowed directly from European farming traditions stretching back centuries. By the 1800s, farm journals described packing carrots and beets directly into dry sand, inside crocks or barrels, as standard winter practice for any household feeding itself without a grocery store nearby. Here's why it works. Dry sand pulls excess moisture away from the surface of the vegetable without fully drying it out. That slows decay dramatically while keeping the vegetable firm and crisp, instead of going soft and shriveled the way it would sitting out in the open air. Here is how to build the modern version. Step 1. Get a plastic storage bin or sturdy cardboard box with a lid. Step 2. Pour about 2 inches of completely dry sand into the bottom. Step 3. Lay your carrots, beets, or turnips on top of the sand, without washing the soil off first. Soil left on actually extends storage life. Make sure pieces aren't touching each other. Step 4. Cover them with more sand. Step 5. Repeat those layers, vegetable, then sand, until the container is full. Step 6. Put the lid on. with a few small holes poked in for airflow. Step 7. Store it in the coolest, darkest spot in your house, a basement corner, an unheated closet, or an attached garage in moderate climates. Done this way, root vegetables keep 4 to 6 months, sometimes longer for potatoes in ideal dark conditions, and some old records describe vegetables lasting an entire winter into the following spring. One honest limitation: this method takes up real space and only works for root vegetables specifically. It will not help with your tomato or cucumber surplus. Zones 3 through 7, this works particularly well, since basement and garage temperatures naturally sit close to the ideal range through fall and winter. Zones 8 through 11, an interior closet, a dedicated cool box, or a wine fridge is more reliable than a garage. If this changed how you think about that bag of carrots in your fridge drawer, hit subscribe. I cover methods like this every single week. Method 3. Lacto-fermentation, the oldest method on this list. No vinegar, no boiling water, no store-bought anything, just salt, water, and thyme. This is the oldest method on this entire list, and it works because it grows its own preservative instead of borrowing one. Quick contrast before we start. Method 1 worked because the vinegar was already sour. This one has no vinegar at all. The vegetables make their own sourness over the next several days. One is instant, this one is alive. People have used this method for thousands of years, long before refrigerators existed. It is how sauerkraut, kimchi, and half the pickled vegetables on earth were made. Here's why it works. Vegetables already carry good bacteria on their skin. Covering them in salty water, called a brine, pushes out the air. Bad bacteria need air to survive, so they die off. Good bacteria do not need air, so they keep growing, and as they grow, they produce lactic acid. That acid is what preserves the vegetable. Here is how to do it yourself. Step 1. Stir 2 tablespoons of salt into 1 quart of water. That's 4 cups. Use kosher or sea salt, not the iodized salt in most spice cabinets. Iodized salt can stop the fermentation from working at all. Step 2. Wash and cut up cabbage, carrots, or radishes. Pack them tightly into a wide-mouthed glass jar. Step 3. Pour the brine over the vegetables until every piece is completely covered. Anything sticking out above the water can grow mold. Step 4. Weigh everything down with something clean and heavy, like a small water-filled bag, so nothing floats up. Step 5. Set the jar at normal room temperature, ideally 65 to 75 degrees. Step 6. Watch for tiny bubbles over the next few days. That is the bacteria at work. Once a day for the first 5 days, crack the lid open for a second to let the gas escape. Step 7. After 5 to 7 days, taste it. If you like it, move it to the fridge. It will keep for weeks, sometimes months. The whole batch costs under 15 cents. Type fermentation below if this is your first time trying it. Want your harvest plentiful enough to actually reach this jar before pests get to it first? My new guide, Natural Pest and Disease Control, shows you how. Link is in the description. Method 4. The drying rack. Before electric dehydrators, people dried food with just sun, air, and thyme. Bacteria and mold need water to survive. Remove the water, and the food becomes shelf-stable. Your oven can do this job. Step 1. Slice vegetables about a 1/4 inch thick. Step 2. Lay slices in a single layer on a baking sheet, not overlapping. Step 3. Set your oven to its lowest temperature. Step 4. Crack the oven door open, about an inch. This is the step people skip, and skipping it ruins the batch. The gap lets moisture escape. A closed door just steams the food instead of drying it. Step 5. Check every few hours. It's done when a piece snaps instead of bends. Stored sealed at room temperature, dried vegetables last about 6 months, longer if vacuum sealed. For comparison, store-bought sun-dried tomatoes run $4 to $6 an ounce. One Roma tomato plant gives you pounds of fruit per season. Roma VF tomatoes are the standard drying variety because they have less water than slicing tomatoes, so they dry faster. They grow well in zones 3 through 9. If that oven trick saved you from buying a dehydrator, subscribe and turn on notifications. I post updates like this every week. Method 5. The sharing ledger. This last method doesn't preserve anything. It makes sure your harvest gets used by someone, even if not you. The USDA estimates 30 to 40% of food grown in America gets thrown away every year. Home gardeners contribute to that every summer without realizing it. For generations, communities handled this simply. A basket of tomatoes left on a porch, a trade of squash for peppers. Nobody called it charity. It was just what people did with extra food. Here are a few easy ways to do it yourself. The simplest one: walk next door. A paper bag of tomatoes or zucchini handed to a neighbor costs you nothing and takes 2 minutes. Tuck in a small recipe card if you want to make it even easier for them to use. If you go to church, a senior center, or any kind of weekly club meeting, bring a box of extra produce and leave it by the door with a sign that says, "Free, please take." Many small towns also have a community swap table or a little free pantry, often near a church or library, where people leave food for anyone to take. And if you'd rather give to a food bank than a person, call your local food pantry directly and ask if they accept fresh produce. Most do, especially in summer. The website ampleharvest.org can also help you find one by zip code. Every pound given away is a pound that doesn't go to waste, and often a pound someone genuinely needed. 5 old-fashioned methods, all still working today. The brine jar makes pickles in minutes. The sand-packed root cellar keeps carrots and beets crisp through an entire winter. Lacto-fermentation, the oldest method on this list, costs 15 cents and has fed civilizations for thousands of years. The drying rack uses nothing but your oven, and the sharing ledger means nothing has to go to waste. Which one will you try first? Tell me in the comments, and if you already use one, share how it's worked for you. If this gave your harvest somewhere to go besides the trash, subscribe. I post tips like this every week. And send this to the gardener in your life who admits every fall that half their tomatoes went soft on the counter. One last reminder: trust your senses. If a jar looks, smells, or feels wrong, don't risk it. When in doubt, compost it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.